Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Leslie Birkland, and you are listening to the Brighter Life podcast. I am here today with Mr. Nick Brighter. He is our vibration expert. And today's podcast, we're really going to talk about is vibrations and what are vibrations. Now, Nick, I've been doing some studying
hmm
myself.
Oh, good.
I know, because I'm so fascinated. And, there's so many different ways to describe it. And I think that maybe I would describe it in the simplest terms as, vibration is just levels, it's energy levels of everything that is and was. And the reason why I say was is I think of quantum physics
hmm
because quantum physics is has to do with waves, and the waves of any sound that comes out or any movement continues for infinity. So it has to do a little bit with quantum mechanics, but in general, vibration is just the level of energy that we as humans, that plants have, that rocks have, that the universe has, that everything that's within the universe. Would you describe it that way?
I would agree with that. So if I was going to answer the question, what is vibration? I would say the energy of all that exists would be a very short and simplified way of saying it. So I would agree with that. People transfer energy when they interact with each other and when they communicate with each other.
And
And
even
it,
with thoughts, when you're thinking, I mean, isn't everything that we do, even our thoughts, isn't that create some form of vibration?
yeah, so your thoughts will create vibration. Your thoughts have energy. So if you imagine a room full of people, and if you were to sort of take a third person, and let's say this person has a low energy level, lower than yours, lower than everyone else in the room, and you were to sort of put that person in the room, then that person's going to make the room denser and bring the energy level down just by their thoughts, their thoughts being lower.
Just
Or
their
you,
entire existence, just if they're negative,
yeah,
if there's somebody that's like a downer, they walk into the room. And I've experienced
and
that.
and yeah, and that's why I use that example. Yeah,
Okay. And then the
on the
reverse.
yeah, so yeah, exactly. You know where I'm going with this.
Okay.
On the other hand, if you were to pluck that low energy or the low thoughts that they're having, pluck that person out and replace them with a high energy level person, let's say a person that's very charismatic, for example, and charisma requires an energy level that would be higher than what I would say is sort of the baseline for positive, which we'll get. I'll get into that, but a higher energy level person could be charismatic, and that'll be a person that's going to have an opposite effect, and it's going to tend to raise. It doesn't have to be a charismatic person, but a high energy level person. I'm just using a charismatic person as an
Right.
example because
Right.
everyone can kind of relate to that. And people would be able to feel the uplift
Yes.
that person brings to the room, especially relative to the denser, and just a person's thoughts can do that.
I know that with thoughts, because somebody can walk into a room and maybe have a smile on their face, but if they're just all negative and everything about them is just low energy or low vibration, you can
hmm
sense it. I think that we have some
Yeah,
intuition, natural intuition, where we can sense, the vibration level of other things, of other,
hmm
rather even be a plant that's dying. I was listening to another podcast where they were saying when the high, it was Proctor. It was Bob Proctor is saying
yeah,
that in
yeah,
a high level vibration environment, even your plants are happier and everything
yeah.
around you is happier. And I really believe that to be true. And I know you do because this is what you study. And so you've done a lot of research on it. How about we talk about how it relates to us?
Right. Okay.
Why do I need to know all these different vibration levels that we will be going over? How is it going to affect just me?
So the question that I would that I'm trying to answer here, which it's a version of the question you're trying to ask. It's a kind of a baseline that I try to go for. The question of so what? What if someone says, okay, energy level, so what? Or why should I care? Is that about where you're going? The question you're trying to
Right.
ask
Like,
there?
how does it relate to me?
Okay.
How is that? How am I? What am I supposed to do
So
with this
you went
vibration information?
You went over, you mentioned some of the benefits, but additional ones would be um, increasing your energy level will increase the quality of your life. Increasing your energy level will make you happier. And for those that are not happy, it will help them to get there.
Okay,
And simply,
interesting.
an important thing to remember is that simply being aware of the energy levels or vibration levels, a person, it empowers a person with knowledge to increase their level.
Okay, so increasing your energy level more, to be more or in the positive, we're going to actually go over
Hmm.
some vibration levels. And I think
Yeah.
when you go through these, because I've read some of your writings, and so I tend to say, oh, so and so is at that level. I mean, I'm a little judgy. I don't want to be judgy,
Hmm.
but I recognize certain people that are at a high energy level, not just
Hmm.
based on their success, but just based on who they are and just how big they are and the energy that they
So,
just
so
bring
it
with them.
it is important for everyone to for people to understand that people have at least for very short periods of time temporarily been at every energy level that exists. So everyone can relate to every energy level because at least for a short period of time in their life they've experienced
Yeah.
each of these energy levels,
And
and
that makes
that
sense. That makes
now
sense. I've been blue.
yeah
I've been blue. I've been
yeah
down.
yeah
And maybe it took me a couple days to get out of it, where someone else is maybe at a lower vibration level. It may take them years to to
and
to
I
get
would
out of
say that where you are on a particular day is not necessarily where your baseline is, and I like to look at it like so the scale I use is a 1 to 1,000 scale, which is common in the vibration space
it. Okay.
for for people that for
For all
experts in
you
that space.
vibration
Yeah,
experts. Yeah, okay.
and and on a 1 to 1,000 scale, I like to look at it as a person's baseline is extends about 100 points below and above, and that encompasses sort of the majority of their energy level, let's
Okay, well,
say.
let's talk about all the different levels because I don't even know what my baseline is to
Eh,
know if
Yeah.
I what 100 above or 100 below would be or what would
Okay.
look like. So what do
So
these levels look like?
we're gonna start on. Oh, I don't know if I want to go up, if I want to start low and go higher, high and go down.
Start low, because then we can
Okay.
quickly go through those. I'm gonna, I just
Okay.
have to make sure that
So
okay.
it's zero. At zero, this is
Okay.
a 0 to 1,000 scale. So at zero, we have miserable and humiliation. This is the defining characteristics of this energy level. We go up 25 points from there at 25, and we have blame. And let's see, one of the experts, Professor Hawkins, would put guilt here.
Okay.
But it's it's kind of the same thing.
Got it.
I think that blame is a little more of a defining feature for that level.
Okay.
At level of 50, you have apathy and also despair.
Oh, right. Yeah.
At level of 75, you have regret. At level 100, you have a person will be typically prone to being scared of various things in their life, uh, extremely anxious, and
And just fearful of everything around them, which makes it difficult for them to function.
I would say that they would be highly prone to that.
Okay. Okay.
So not necessarily everything, but yeah, yeah. I think you have
Okay.
the general idea. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
And I'm just trying to go through this really quickly
Good,
because
good.
I know we're trying to. At 125, we have craving, but a the hallmark of this type of craving is a compulsion to the craving.
Okay, so the craving is just the wanting, but not necessarily the achieving. It's just in a state of you just crave things. Is that what that means?
Um, it could be that. It could be something that someone achieves, but I would note that in the case that someone does achieve it, it will be something that they will still have a desire for. They'll still
Okay.
crave it.
So they just want more
Yeah. So
and
so it
more.
would
There's no satisfaction
right.
to
Exactly.
accompany the crave or the desire or the wanting of whatever this
So
thing is.
it could an example could be greed, right?
Ah,
And no matter how much they get, they crave more. Um, However, some things once you obtain them, you can't necessarily crave more. So it sort of depends on what it is. So for some things, it's necessary that it has to be lacked, and for other things, it doesn't matter how much they have, though they will crave more.
I see.
And
Ah, okay.
the important part of this level is the compulsion to the craving.
Got it. So they just are okay. And then what's next?
Um, Above that, at 150, we have anger,
Okay.
and the level of anger. There's sort of four words I think that really paint the picture of what this energy level is. You have vengeful, aggression, and hate. And so
Okay.
they're all a little bit different from each other.
But at
And
150, it's much better than being way down in.
oh yeah, so something important to understand is that the energy levels, in order to get to a high energy level, you can't really skip levels. To some degree you can, but you're limited in your ability essentially to do that. And in order to get, if you're at an energy level below anger, essentially in order to get above it, you have to have hit at that level. You have to be at the anger level.
So
And
for
it's
some
sort
people, anger can be a good thing as long
if
as it's
you're
not perpetual. We're not as long as you're
yeah,
not stuck
yeah.
in anger, but you have to go
For
through that
for
feeling.
someone that is at fear, that's too
Okay.
afraid to even act,
Oh,
or
got it.
even apathy, don't care
Okay.
to act. Anger gives them a lot of energy to make moves in their life.
Okay. But I'm so
Kind of
sorry. Anger's at 150?
Uh, yeah,
Okay.
yes,
150.
150. So
Okay.
another way to look at anger is that they can act more than at lower energy levels, and even though it can be destructive, it's less destructive.
Oh,
It's
oh, at least to their personal self, or I guess to
yeah,
others
yeah.
around them too. Yeah. So, okay. So what's after anger?
After anger, we have arrogance,
Ah,
and
what's arrogance level?
arrogance is at this is at 175,
Okay, so
and
we've jumped from 150 to 175. I
mhm.
just when you I just I
And
know a lot of arrogant people. And so,
an important boastful would also apply here,
oh, oh,
but I tend to look at it as it's sort of an internal boastfulness.
I see. Okay.
Okay. It's
So
sort
they
of
think highly of themselves, they don't always
yes,
express it.
yes. They
Okay.
they are superior,
Oh,
but it's sort of like an inferiority complex kind of thing, possibly. Um, a
interesting.
lot of the time,
Seems
that's
like
what
a
it will be.
contradiction there, but okay, I
Well,
understand.
it's a person inflating their sense of self.
Okay, got it. Got it. And then
Okay.
what's the next level?
So now important here is that the next level is where the the levels cross from the negative to the positive side. It's also the next level is courage,
Okay.
and it's also uh, actually I'll just explain courage. Courage is where a person can see opportunities and they can feel the
Ah, oh, how
possibilities of
wonderful
life.
that must be to abandon the anger and the
Hmm.
shame and all the lower levels, the misery and the despair, and to all of a
And it
sudden
is
be
the first
in a.
positive level.
And I like that word. I like courage because it just sounds
Hmm.
like now you have the courage to actually move forward, and you're in the positive at courage. Is that what you said?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Courage, you're finally in the positive. You finally have momentum. Courage to me, courage is it's the important step to get to. If you're lower than courage, it's a great achievement to get there.
Okay. Wow.
And that I believe if someone's at courage, if they constantly try to raise their energy levels, that it is essentially not possible for them to drop below it. Now,
Because
important.
they know that feeling. They know that, but they have
Hmm.
that belief now. They believe in themselves. They believe they've
Exactly.
abandoned some of the other
They,
feelings.
they finally got to a point
Okay.
where things are in the positive for them, and they can just see, even though it's not a super high positive, it's sort of just barely over the edge. It's just such a huge difference from the a sort of negative tendent feeling.
Got it. Okay.
So
So then what's after courage? Well, I like this going up the scale.
okay, so yeah, well, yeah, you want to raise up
I
the
know.
scale. So at next level at 250, we have a sense of satisfaction.
Okay.
Now, Hawkins would put this at neutrality. He also satisfaction would be a way something that he would use to describe this level also, and trust. Um, I just mentioned those to give viewers sort of a different perspective of this energy level. The hallmark of this energy level, in my opinion, is the sense of satisfaction, though.
Okay. I'm going to go off track just a little bit. I
Uh
feel,
huh.
and I don't know, but I feel like I'm kind of satisfied, like myself. Like I have a
Okay.
sense of satisfaction just in my life and just knowing that, my kids are the best they can be and just satisfaction with how my life is set up. And most of my friends, I feel, are at this level. Do you find that people at different vibration levels, um, the people around them are at equal or like vibration levels, or they attract like vibration levels?
I would say, well, so I'll break apart two different things that you said there.
Okay.
Um, uh, you're putting yourself at 250, and I would say that it's
Is that
extremely
maybe I'm
common.
being too
Well, I would say
maybe
it's
I'm
extremely
flattering
common.
myself.
No,
Maybe
no,
I'm
no.
I'm back down at the what do
It's
you call it?
believable.
Boasting.
Oh, right. Well, remember that a person's baseline extends about 100 points.
Okay.
The energy level that they experience over a day it goes about 100 down and 100 up. It's sort of a range,
Right,
and their
because you
baseline's in the
interact with
middle.
different people with different energy
Yeah,
levels all around you. I see.
yeah.
Okay.
Now, the people around you, yes, there's a tendency over the long term for people to balance out to each other. And so
Okay.
it's sort of the saying, I don't know, birds of a feather flock together. Is that it?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's that, and then there's also advice that's commonly given. Your five best friends, the average of them is you, or something along those lines.
Yes, you know what? I heard that expression
And
where
that
you
that
just take,
that
yeah, you
applies in
take
the
your five.
long term for energy
You're
level.
the average
Yeah.
of the five people that you hang around with. In fact, we sort of did something on habits, and that was something that we were okay. What's the next level over neutrality or satisfaction?
And I would mention that a lot of people well, I'll just say that 250, if you're putting yourself at 250, it's completely believable
Okay,
for me.
okay.
So and I don't
I'm embarrassed. Like
I'm
I'm
not
a
trying to
250,
I'm
and
not
you're a
trying to
two.
compliment or insult you there. I'm just saying it's believable. I'm not saying anything beyond that.
Okay, okay. So
Up
next level. Let's keep
next
on going. I
level
want to know
at
where I need to go.
okay. Next level at 300 is inspiring and optimism.
Ah, okay. So
And yeah, and I would say for someone at satisfaction, yeah, if you can get to inspiring and optimism, then I would say there's a really good chance you can go up from there.
okay, and also just to, I think what you said was in the lower levels, it is slower going to go up each level, but once you've hit
Hmm.
courage at 200, you have more foresight. You can sort of see. You can
Yeah,
go quicker. Is that true, or did I
I,
misunderstand you?
I believe that at courage, once you're in general, if you're putting in the effort to raise your energy level, there's a slight tendency for your energy level to increase,
Hmm.
and that in the negative energy levels below 200, so from arrogance down, let's say, um, there's going to be, it's sort of like life is draining to you.
Right.
And
So
it's almost like over time it almost slightly lowers your energy level. And so
especially if you identify as that level, and then
yeah.
that's just where you want to be.
Uh,
Okay, so what's
uh,
next? We got to keep on
okay.
moving on here.
All right. Moving on. After inspiring at 300, at 350, which is the next level, we have harmony
Um,
and
oh,
forgiveness.
oh, that's beautiful. Okay,
The weight of the weight off your shoulders.
right.
And able to forgive people that you just can't forgive now,
So at that point,
or whatever happened to you.
right. So it's just you're just able to not. It's not even worth even thinking about it or giving some of your time or energy, your
It's not
vibration
it's not
energy.
quite a understanding,
Okay.
but because that's actually the next level.
Ah,
But it's being able, I don't really know how else to say it other than being able to forgive someone
yeah.
for whatever they
Yeah.
did.
I
And
think that is big, but and what you're saying is real, true forgiveness because there's a lot of
yes,
false forgiveness where
yes.
I've people, I forgive you for
And
what you did,
and
and really they're trying to
this is a
insult that
personal.
person.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah. This is a personal forgiveness. So
okay,
I would say this kind of forgiveness does not require you to let the person know. This is a
ah,
personal forgiveness.
okay, so
And,
that you
and
can let it go, so you can let it
yes,
go, and it actually helps you. So
and it could even be forgiving yourself.
ah,
But yeah, I mean personal forgiveness in that you're doing this in your own mind. You're forgiving others what they did to you, forgiving yourself what you did to you in your own mind. You don't have to tell others. You can if you want. It's neither is indicative of whether you're telling
I
people
see.
or not. Of the hallmark is the forgiveness itself.
Got it. Okay, what's next?
Above that, at 400, we have joy
Ah,
and understanding.
okay, okay,
And
excellent.
in my opinion, understanding it's kind of it can be related to forgiveness, but it's also separate. And understanding that were you in another person's shoes, like this
Oh, I
person did
see.
this thing, and
So a
were I
little
in his.
empathy. So you can
Mm-hmm.
actually
Yeah.
understand what they're, what they may be going through and that it's something that you're not going to judge. You just have just sort of an understanding that life is life and that
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
happen and
And
that
were you in their shoes, maybe you could
okay.
have done the same thing because you can at least understand how someone could have done this or that.
Or come to a conclusion about something. Okay, what's
Mm-hmm.
up? What's next?
Above that, you have, I think a lot of people want to get to this level, which is the level of love.
Ah. And you don't mean to like romantic love or loving your dog or loving or that overwhelming love feeling. You mean just in general love for life and love for all that is. Is that what you mean?
I would say really close to what you're. I think you could say that
Okay.
love for
I'm glad you
life.
did.
You could say I don't want to exactly say oneness, but
Okay.
it's almost a oneness. It's a universal connectedness. We're all in
Ah,
this together.
that oh, I like that.
We all come, we're all brothers and sisters. We all come from the same source, and we're all
Okay.
going to the same source.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. That's at
This
what
is
level?
love. This is love.
Okay. I'm sorry. What level did you put love? Uh, number level.
I'm sorry, I actually didn't mention that. So joy, which is at 400, and
Okay.
above that is love, which is at, now we're jumping 100 points here, and love is at 500.
Okay. We're getting pretty high. Okay. Then what's left after love?
So after next after love at 550, we have bliss,
Ah,
and um I suppose you could say that bliss is maybe a more, and let's say I don't know, a better version of love, or a better version of joy. And love, let's say,
Right. Well,
a
I
better
think of bliss as just a constant state of just
Mhm.
pure, sheer happiness with love included, with
Well, how about if I explain another viewpoint of this that'll help that out? Because I think just mentioning maybe the emotional part of it isn't so might not help with understanding. It is the idea that there is a oneness. So at this level, everyone is one, or everyone is the universe or the supreme being, whatever. People have different belief
God,
systems.
of course, for
So
me.
it,
Yeah,
it could it
got it.
could either be the universe. If you're a Christian, it would be God.
Right.
Every
Got it.
and it would essentially be that we are we are Him, in the sense that He has put, in the sense that we're all a part of Him.
Right. Well, he's made us in his likeness if you're a
Hmm.
Christian. And so of course that's what you would want to attain to make him happy, to be
Yeah.
closer
No,
to God.
no, I don't think not to go
Hey,
down
I'm
that path.
getting a
I
little
don't think Christians would quite describe it like that. But to me, I don't look at that as an insult. I look at it as God is omnipotent, and we're part of His creation. We, in a way, we are Him. But um, for agnostics, it would be that we all are the universe. We all are part of the source.
okay. I
We
didn't
are
even
we
know that
we are
agnostics
the
even
source.
considered a source from what are
Well,
atheists. Maybe
it's
agnostic, but
the agnostic viewpoint, so not
okay,
identifying
interesting.
God as the source.
Okay, interesting. And then is there anything above that? I mean, you said 1,000. What's that? Is there anything that a
So,
human
well,
could
that
obtain after that?
bliss I put at 600.
Okay, so bliss is at 600, then
Yeah,
what's after that? What could possibly be after that?
700, which is enlightenment,
Ah,
and 700, and Hawkins puts enlightenment also at 700. He extends it to 1,000, which I do as well, because there's very few people that have ever been at this level, and it's for anything that is foreseeable to us. It's all sort of one at that point, and you're kind of getting to God at that point. You're
have there
only
been people or entities or beings on the planet that
I would examples. Yes, there have been people that have walked on this earth that have been at this level, and I'll give two examples.
okay,
One would be the Buddha,
okay,
and another would be Jesus Christ.
okay,
And
okay, I
these
see
would be people that just their presence in their lifetime would have been,
in that level.
um
Okay.
let's see, I heard someone describe Jesus Christ. What, I don't know if I want to
Don't
say
get yourself
this.
in trouble.
Well, my reasoning for not wanting to say this is something I probably
Okay.
shouldn't think about. So I'll just say it, that Jesus was a rock star in his time, and so I like to look at it like
Oh no, I
from
like
a
that. I
yeah.
find no offense
So,
in that because he is a
so
rock star. I
well,
get
yeah,
it.
no, I don't find offense in that, but it's
Okay.
the person did something that you know what, maybe that person didn't do anything that was an issue, but
Yeah, well, I mean,
anyways,
he's
so credit to that person.
okay.
um i'm I'm drawing a blank on their name right now, but
Is that someone that you've read, someone that's in the vibration space, or is it just somebody
no,
you
no,
know
no,
personally?
no, but I like the idea of rockstar Jesus, and I like to look at it like he was a walking rock star in regards to his ability to raise people's energy level,
Ah, excellent.
just his
Okay,
presence
so
alone.
now
and and,
how
and so enlightenment goes all the way to 1,000. So there is some differences between 700 and 1,000, but we'll just stop it right there because
well, if it's not in our realm, if it's not in our planetary realm or what we as human
unless you're
beings,
the next Jesus Christ,
yeah.
you're unlikely to get above 700.
Okay. Okay, got
And
it.
at 700, you are enlightened.
You're enlightened, fully
Mhm.
enlightened. So how well, why do people need to know about I mean, like how is this gonna affect me knowing all these different levels? I mean, is there, I
I,
mean,
I, I
I'm
would,
excited just hearing you talk,
yeah.
you
For
know,
for me,
that,
I would say the ability for a person to be happier and raise their quality of life.
um,
And I think it's also important to point out that if a person continually tries to raise their energy level, that if they're above 200, they essentially can't drop below 200. It's very, or that's my belief. It's extremely difficult if they're constantly putting in the effort to do so.
okay.
And that merely being aware of the energy level gives people a lot of power. It empowers them to be able
Nice.
to raise their energy level and therefore raise their quality of life and their happiness.
Nick, I want to thank you so much for explaining this because it's really helpful because
Hmm.
the vibration space is, I hear it often. It seems to be a topic, you know, raising your vibration or being around only positive people or think positive and all this stuff. And so to have you break it down makes more sense. So next time we can talk about how we can actually the mechanics of raising our vibration, our next conversation, and then the mechanics of maybe helping someone else raise their vibration if they're ready to move forward. What do you think about that?
I think that sounds great. I look forward to it.
Okay, excellent. Well, you've been listening to Nick Brighter. He is our vibration expert, and I am Dr. Leslie Birkland from The Brighter Life. And until next time, goodbye, everyone, and thank you for listening to our show.